I know the first question for y'all is, where the fuck have I been? And I was taking a little break, It's Black History Month. A lot of shit's been going on. I have been productive. Y'all can catch me on Global R&B Wednesdays and Thursdays. I'm in that bitch. Hello, hello, hello. I'm a lady named D. If this is your first time listening to the SlackerModeNation Podcast, welcome. And if you're a return listener, welcome back. Yeah, so this is pretty much going to be let's just chat because this is on video. Where have I been? I've been a little bit jealous because I still don't have a PlayStation 5 and I really want to play that Hogwarts game, but it's really looking like I'm going to have to wait till April to get it. Sometimes the dice just does not roll. If y'all don't know, I'm a big Harry Potter fan, and if you don't subscribe to Harry Potter because J.K. Rowling is trash, I completely understand, but that's something I literally grew up with. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I really want to play that game. I can't wait to play that game. Killing me softly. I've still been writing Purple Rain. So Project Purple Rain is still a thing. I don't really talk about it because I'm writing it, but I'm also mostly just world building and trying to get that together and trying to figure out how the fuck we get to where we're at in this book. Not even gonna hold you. But it's coming along beautifully in my mind. We're getting a little bit closer to April, and I think I said that during Camp NaNoWriMo in April, which I am participating in. I don't know why, I just love to stay busy. I am participating in it. I think I'm going to spend all of April really buckling down and getting the world built together so that everything's good. So I'm prepared to get this ship on the road, in the air, space, whatever. If you don't know, I'm goofy. If this is your first time listening, I'm goofy. Anyway, so yeah, that's coming along beautifully. I think I kind of made a decision about a major character dying, meeting an untimely end. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I don't know if you realize, if you write, then you completely understand. But sometimes, you just get an idea and you just have to go with it. And I think I'm gonna go with that. But I'm sad about it. I really love this character. So, yeah. So Project Purple Rain is still on. It's still cracking. I'm still doing that. Oh, I guess I can talk about a few books that I've read since we last spoke. I haven't really read a lot since the last books that I read, but what books did I read that I have not talked about? I have got to do better. I'm probably behind on my reading challenge now. Hate to see it. Oh no, I'm still 3 books ahead of schedule. Oh yeah, so I don't know. Did I talk about Bloodmarked? I don't think I talked about Bloodmarked. I don't know. So I read I might have talked about it on TikTok. So I finally read Bloodmarked, and I wish I hadn't because now I have to wait however long for the next book in the series, and I hate waiting. But it was great. The first book was amazing. I won't say this book was as amazing as the first book, but it was great. It was great. I liked it. It was definitely a good sequel. So I definitely look forward to reading more by Tracy Dion, and I can't wait to read the next book in that series. And then the other book, yeah, because I have not been reading. I started reading a new book, so we'll see how that goes. But the next book that I read that I didn't talk about was The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. And if you don't know by now, I am a very big, huge N.K. Jemisin fan. So, I really love this book. And I was sad to find out that this is going to be the end of the series, because she felt like real world events and politics were really influencing her work in a way that she didn't like. So she just went ahead and did what she had to do. I really hope, because I feel like the end of this book kind of still leaves room for more books. So I really hope she does write more in this. But you have to have, this was hard to explain, but oh yeah, I have The City We Become. we became right there. But what I really liked about this book is how she embodies the city of New York and their avatars. Like, if you love New York in any capacity, you would love this book just off top, even if you're not into like the whole fantasy thing. But I like how she kind of blends real life events with like little science fiction fantasy type of themes. Like, if you've never read a book by N.K. Jemisin, baby, what are you doing? Go do that. The way that she's like the Toni Morrison of science fiction fantasy and high fantasy, to be honest. The way that she world builds and the way that she really blends real life things into her novel is just for real, the book that you should start off with by N.K. Jemisin. And that's hard because I really love everything that she's ever written. I haven't read not one thing from that woman that I do not like. Dag. I want to say the Inheritance series. That was the first series. No, that wasn't the first series. Okay, I don't think. If I gotta go back and look at this. But if I'm correct, the Inheritance series is the first book that she published, but the Moonblood duology were the first books that she wrote. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's how that went. My favorite, I think that my favorite book by her. Now I gotta go look. It's so hard. Oh yeah, if you do read The Great Cities, I definitely recommend that you read the audiobooks because Robin Miles narrates it and she does an amazing job. Okay, I want to say, if I'm being real honest, yeah, The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin is my favorite book by N.K. Jemisin. Her world is influenced by Egyptian history and mythology, and the way, like, her social commentary is just A1. Like, for real, on one hand, it's a fantasy book. I would say this book is fantasy. Yeah, it falls into that speculative fiction. On one hand, this book is about, magic. On the other hand, it's about people that are oppressed, how differences in cultures influence, hostilities and wars and stuff like that. Really the effects of intolerance. Like people being intolerant of other people instead of just living in perfect harmony. It's, accepting that there are differences in cultures and religions and things like that. How intolerance really becomes a great breeding ground for war. Yeah, that's a lot. See, that's deep. And that book isn't even that long, but that's deep. That's how many like different themes are in this book. A big note, like, never count out the underdog and, never underestimate somebody's resilience. Ooh, this book was heavy. It was good. If you don't read that, and that's the book I always recommend people read, but if you don't read that, if you decide not to read that, you should definitely read the books that won her Hugo Awards, and that's the Broken Earth trilogy. Again, that also has similar themes to The Killing Moon, but just in a different setting, and this world build, woo, it was deep. It really touched on racism in a way that you just gotta read it. I really love N.K. Jemisin. She's probably my favorite author. And that's a hard thing for me to say because I like a lot of authors. I like a lot of different books. I read a lot of different books. But yeah, I would say that she's my favorite. I think I could say that with confidence. Even if she doesn't finish that series, I can't wait to read whatever that she writes next because... So that was that. Right now I'm reading Dick I Dick by Kurt Vonnegut, and I've only read Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. Really loved it, but Slaughterhouse-Five is the book that he's known for. Now I'm trying to get into the deep cuts. I like his books because they really put me on a different thinking plane, and as I'm writing this book, I kind of need to be on a different thinking plane. Like, I've been trying to read more science fiction because my book that I'm writing, even though I'm still saying it's more like a speculative, heavy high fantasy space novel, but has science fiction elements. So I'm trying to read more of those just to kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to do, studying other writer styles and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm reading Dead Eye Dick by Kurt Vonnegut, and I'm really trying to find other books to read. I'm also reading The Laws of Human Nature because my friend let me borrow that. Thank you. Appreciate you. That's interesting. I like books like that. Nonfiction is heavy too. That's probably what's taking me so long to read it. I don't read the first 2 pages and put it down and just never picked it back up. And it's not because it's not interesting. It's just, I know when I read that book, that's a book that I like to read, sit down with a notebook and pen and read and take notes. And because it's not my personal copy. No, I can't do what I do in books like that. Like I have The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, and that book is highlighted and tabbed and underlined. Like I annotate my books. I also really want to find another sci-fi horror book that's like, what was this book? I listened to it on audiobook. I really like that book. Because, like, at first I wasn't that into it, but that's because I really wasn't, like, that into it. And then I read that jank and Dead Silence. I recommended that to my cousin, but I told him the wrong title. And my bad, Chris. That's the book, Dead Silence. By S.A. Barnes. The podcast is officially back. I'm not going to do video all the time, but there are a few little projects that I'm going to try to do with videos. I'm a lady named Dee. This is the SlackerModeNation Podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.